Welcome to Stonewatch. This is my open spoiler discussion for Snake Eyes G.I. Joe's Origins. And if you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button and click on that bell to be notified for future videos. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And yes, after watching Snake Eyes G.I. Joe's Origins, like I say, I didn't think this movie was all that good. And I am so disappointed, man, because I was so looking forward to watching this movie. Now, I was a fan of the previous two films, to be quite honest with you, even though I did like the first one more than the one with The Rock. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins is also simply known as Snake Eyes, is a 2021 American superhero film directed by Robert Schwentke. The screenplay was written by Evan Spiliotopoulos, Joe Shrapnel, and Anna Waterhouse. Based on Hasbro's G.I. Joe media franchise, the film serves as an origin story to the title character, in addition being a reboot of the G.I. Joe film series. The project was first announced in May of 2018 with Golden being cast in the main role in August of 2019. The rest of the cast joined in the following months. After initial filming took place in Vancouver and Japan from October of 2019 to February of 2020, reshoots took place in March of 2021. Snake Eyes was theatrically released in the United States on July 23rd on 2021 by Paramount Pictures. Film received mixed reviews from the critics, who criticized the editing, writing, and the direction of the action scenes, but praised the performances and the production value. Starring in this film, we have Henry Golding, Andrew Kuji, Ursula Cobero, Samara Weaving, and Iko Uwais, just to name a few. Man, I gotta say this. I am so glad that there's a website called howtopronounce.com, because I have to tell you, when I was getting ready to make this video and I saw this name right here, I was like, how the hell do you pronounce that? And if it wasn't for this website, I don't know if I would have even really tried, to be quite honest with you. So again, now I'm not being sponsored by this website whatsoever, even though I use it a lot for my videos. I mean, for a lot. If I see a name that I can't pronounce, I don't even bother trying. I just go right to this website, paste it right in there, and boom, there you go. And I even have like a couple other suggestions on how to pronounce the name that you're trying to pronounce. So if you have a name that you can't pronounce, I highly recommend checking out howtopronounce.com. Just saying. I mean, it's helped me out a lot making my videos, so I highly recommend. Just saying. Currently, this movie is sitting with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 42% and an audience score of 73%. So it's safe to say that the movie-going fans like this movie way more than the critics do. I kind of wish I was one of the movie-going fans that like this movie. I'm not saying this movie's totally terrible. I'm not saying I totally hate this movie, because I don't. I mean, there were some points of it that I did like, but there was other points I'm going, are you kidding me? I mean, I was so disappointed. Now, with the budget of $80 to $110 million, we'll have to wait and see how this does at the box office, and whether or not if it's going to get a sequel, if there's any spin-offs like they were planning on doing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm so glad that they didn't say, well, we're going to do this movie, we're going to do this movie. They didn't try to lay it all out, because if this movie doesn't do well, there won't be any sequels and there won't be any spin-offs. I'm sorry to say. I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see how this thing performs at the box office. Now, 15 or 2 went matinee. I mean, mainly because I'm cheap, okay? It's not because I think this movie was terrible. I mean, I do this for every movie that I see, to be quite honest with you. I go matinee if I can, because I'm a cheap man. It's just all there is to it. And I'd be quite honest with you, I'm glad that I did not pay more than matinee for this movie. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe if the theater was actually more packed with more people, I probably would have felt the energy in the crowd, so it might have made this movie a little bit better. Maybe. Just maybe. Now, there was some cool action scenes in this movie, but I had to say that the whole shaking of the camera thing kind of ruined most of them. And the sword fighting scenes that they had in this movie could have been really badass. But again, the whole camera shaking thing kind of ruined them. You really couldn't tell what was going on. I was so disappointed with that, because I like watching the whole ninja and sword fighting thing. When I saw that in the trailer, I'm going, oh, this is going to be so cool, because I'm a huge fan of ninja movies and sword fighting in movies. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so lightsaber fights are my thing, and I'm looking so forward to somebody on YouTube taking these sword fighting scenes from this movie and imposing lightsabers over them. Maybe that'll make them a lot better. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And unfortunately, I had to say most of the story in this movie wasn't really all that good. I didn't think they'd set stuff up all that well. I mean, yes, he watched his father die, and he was on this whole vengeance quest from there on out, but they didn't really establish where did he learn how to fight. They didn't show any of his training whatsoever. They didn't even hint on where he got his training. He just they went from he was a boy, he watched his dad die, he was too scared to actually come out of the woods to even face the guy who shot his dad. Next thing you know, he's at this underground cage fighting thing, and he's getting his butt kicked, but he eventually does win. But I didn't really see exactly how he won, to be quite honest with you. It was really hard to watch. I don't know, maybe it's just me. No, I did think that Henry Golding did a pretty good job in this movie, even though I didn't really quite care for how his character was written, to be quite honest. But, I thought was pretty damn cool. Before the movie started, they had Henry Golding doing like a thank you for coming to watch this movie on the big screen. I thought that was pretty damn cool. I mean, it wasn't something major, but I thought that was pretty cool on how to start the movie. And we get to see that Black Widow, turn your phone thing off again before the movie started. And it was actually kind of funny because they had like the normal turn your phone thing off for the theater itself. And then after the whole mess load of trailers they had played that Black Widow turn your phone thing off again, which was kind of cool to see it again, to be quite honest with you. But I thought it was weird. I'm like, why did you do that twice? That made absolutely no sense. You know what I'm saying? Now, I did like it how they had the G.I. Joes and Cobra already established when this movie started. They didn't spend a lot of time explaining what each faction was all about. I mean, there were some explanations in this movie, like really little bits of dialogue, but it wasn't like major stuff. Or then there was some clips showing all the terrorist acts that Cobra was doing around the world. There was a little bit that, but other than that, they didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. But I kind of wish they would have spent some more time with the members of those factions in this movie. I thought Scarlett's introduction into this movie was not all that great. I didn't really care for it, to be quite honest with you. No, the Baroness one was actually a little bit more interesting, a little bit more in the character that I kind of knew from the cartoons back in the day, but wasn't all that much better. Because I think that Cobero and Weaving did a pretty damn good job considering what they had to work with, which really wasn't all that much as far as I'm concerned. I'm not familiar with any other work prior to this movie. Actually, this whole entire cast was all brand new to me. Now, doing research for this video, I seen all the stuff that they were all in. I'm going, oh, okay. But I haven't seen any of it. So I went into this movie and I didn't know anything about this cast. I didn't see anything that they were in prior to. So I had no knowledge of what I was actually going to see as far as their performances went, to be quite honest, which I was kind of really looking forward to. And for the most part, they kind of worked. But the story that they were working with didn't work for me. I mean, it just didn't. I'm sorry, man. I don't know. So, I don't know, man. Did you watch Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you like it? What did you think? Where does this one rank with you compared to the other two G.I. Joe movies that we've got back in the day? Let me know in the comments down below. Right now, I'm going with the Channing Tatum one for the first one. Really. I mean, right now, it's bad as that movie wasn't all that great either, to be quite honest. But as far as I'm concerned, it's the best one of the three. Or at least the one I like the most out of the three. So, I don't know, man. Let me know what you think in the comments down below.